Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today we are looking at the Boomerang. Introduced by the Federated Suns in 2888 and named for its V shape, the Boomerang is a typical example of a spotter plane used by the armed forces of the successor states. It acts as a mobile spotter for artillery units and is a forward observer for advancing mechs. Though the use of spy planes for reconnaissance fell by the wayside upon introduction of spy satellites as far back as the 21st century, the massive technology decline after the collapse of the Star League returned it to its former predominance. The first aerial reconnaissance plane designed by the successor war era, the Boomerang's most obvious features were its long main wings, smaller forward wings, and large rear mounted propeller, while resulting in an oddly proportioned plane that makes the craft highly fuel efficient. It has a very short takeoff and extreme maneuverability. Its utility is only enhanced by the fact that it can be disassembled quickly and stow aboard even the smallest of dropships. The lightweight Boomerang does not have any of the computer guided systems common to larger aircraft, which monitor the pilot's actions. The Boomerang pilot must therefore have a natural flair for flying to get the most out of the vehicle while avoiding situations where its lack of weaponry or significant armor will lead to its destruction. Okay, weapons and equipment. The Boomerang's armament consists of two automatic cameras working in infrared as well as standard light. The cameras are clearly uh, the cameras can see clearly even at night, enabling the Boomerang to function in all but the worst weather conditions. The two cameras can work independently, locking on to two separate targets to relay the information back. All right, so variants. We do have uh, the Boomerang variant serves as a good example of spotter planes among the various successor states. We have the Chameleon, the Free Worlds League variant from 2895, armed with a machine gun, prepared to fire phosphorus tracers to mark enemy positions. The Dragonfly from the Compellion Confederation from 2895, we have Hyperion, a Free Worlds League variant from 2912, Quick Dart Lyran variant from 2895 without cameras and additional armor. Shuriken, a Combine variant from 2901, and Warbler, a Larian variant from 2910. All right, additional notes, because there's not a lot here. In the original 3025 technical readout, the Boomerang was profiled as a unit constructed with the conventional fighter rules, since support vehicle rules did not yet exist at the time. As such, it had a 9/14 thrust rating because of because this is absurd while also expressly breaking rules for how fast a prop driven craft can be. In the 3039, it was changed out to a support aircraft. The key features now include a reasonable 4.6 thrust rating and the ultralight STOL and propeller driven chassis modification. The recon cameras were retained. The craft's cost was reduced to 46,836, and the battle value remains at an 8. In German products, the propeller name was translated to Boomerang. A Boomerang. Um, Slight, variant change here. All right, we do have three pictures here. This is the one that we get to see in the 3025, the original version of it. And then we have a revised version from the, revised 3025. And then this one is from Mike Nielsen and Jim Nielsen, as of which I did not mention who the original one artist was. And that is from David uh, Dietrich. And last but not least, we have, if the picture wants to open up here, a nice little picture. And this comes from John Paul Lona, Aerotech 2 Revised Edition. Okay. There's a couple slight things I really want to note before we get into doing the D6 stats. This is only a 5 ton craft here. Um, I think later on I had started putting weights in here. Maybe I'll quick do that right before we get flipped on over. Um, as I'm changing formats or whatever, I just grab the Sparrow Hawk and I just kind of copy pasted it, and everything's been changed on it. But as you've seen before, I usually take a set template so I can just change it and I don't have to retype up the whole template. But we'll get into that. All right. With that, let's get into our D6 stats of this and go from there. All right, so looking at the Boomerang, this is going to be listed as speeder scale. 5 tons, crew of one, no passengers, cargo capacity is down to 25 kilograms. Of course, I'm keeping it as a full coverage. I did keep the original cost at 68,880 credits. Maneuverability, now it said it was actually fairly maneuverable, so I had dropped it down to a 2D. I'm going to put it up to a 4D. I'm taking a little extra liberty. I wasn't using my little chart or whatever on this one, just kind of going with it as it is. Atmospheric speed. So this had a like an overthrust or top speed of 20 hexes. Uh, so by our conversion chart here, that gives us a 1,700 kilometers an hour. Fairly fast for a very lightweight plane. Body strength, I'm leaving it at 1D. In the technical readout, it does not list any armor on here. So I'm giving it a 1D just as a base and one armor point. Now, the armor point I would probably say should, well, it's going to be at speeder scale. So you could pick this sucker off without too much of an issue. I'm just throwing that out there. If you want to throw a couple extra points on there, I'm just giving it one just for what it is. Weapons, we have the recon camera on here. Actually, it said there was two, and in the book it only mentions one. So, seeing that we can actually target two different craft at the same time, I will keep it as two. So that way, if you're trying to get artillery in or keep track of two different mechs at the same time or whatever, I'll leave it at two. That's not a problem. Now, these are front facing speeder scale, and they have like a range of 2 kilometers on the ground. Now, once we get up, that means that it can start seeing out a little bit farther. But just for some game mechanics, I am saying that you should be able to track things about 2 kilometers out just by itself. So, um, simple, plain, very effective for what it does, trying to get eyes in the sky and trying to keep the enemy in view of what we need to do. So, shorter video today, not a problem. I don't mind doing the shorter videos uh, some days, and this is I mentioned before. This is a couple chaotic weeks coming up here, so we'll get the videos out. It'll be a little bit of a struggle on my end, but you don't worry about it. We'll figure out how to get the videos out, and we'll still have fun doing this. With that being said, thank you for stopping by. Thanks for visiting. It's always wonderful having you here. I hope you're doing well, and I will see you in the next video.